Hey Tubesters, it's Auburn for Song the Mormon Mystic, coming to you from, well, I don't know. I guess we gotta say the mysterious outdoors. I don't know, I ran out of time to film. I think there's an old man staring at me. This is kind of weird. Oh well. I ran out of time at home to record the videos, and at one point it cut out on me. And so I'm really determined to get these two question tag video things done. And hopefully I'm not getting whitewashed by the sun. Oh gosh, more people are coming. Literally as I started recording, someone's coming. Anyway, I'm gonna try and do this. Hopefully you can hear me. Maybe I should get a little closer. I'm doing the Ravenflower 18 question witchy tag. I don't actually know what it's called. I'm going to make these tag videos separate, so right now I'm just going to do the witchy question one. Well, technically they're both witchy questions. I'm going to do the 18 one first, like I said, one by Ravenflower. And I'll link her channel below. I don't know if she's done the video, but I will link her channel below so you can check it out, see what a lovely little witch she is. Anyway, so the first question is, and I also put the questions, I'll also write the questions in the description box below. So the first one is, what are 3 things you do every day to stay connected to your practice? Now, the first 2 times I tried to answer this, I was talking about what I used to do, and I think that just took way too much time, so I'm just gonna answer the question as it actually is worded. However, I still want to say that I am cut out of this video. Oh well, gonna make it work. What was I gonna say? Oh, so I've recently been coming back into my practice, like daily practice, that is. I always did like tea and like food blessings and stuff like that, but other than that I didn't really have like a concrete practice. However, what I've been doing recently for, I don't know, about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I've been giving a glass of water to my ancestors every morning. And I've been kind of doing a prosperity chant ritual type of thing. I don't want to get into it because I don't want it to eat up my time. And I do plan on doing like an altar tour, and so maybe I'll share it there. And I've also been doing this, well, not too well recently, but I was doing really well with the Psalm a Day spell. I'll link that video below. It's by Kaisi, Reverend Valerie Love. She's a fellow Christian witch, so I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. You know, it was a good excuse to. I always wanted to like learn the Bible and read the Bible, and so I kind of used it as a good way to internalize the true vibrations of the Bible, I guess is the best way to say it. If you want me to do a more in-depth video talking about what my experience is with this Psalm a Day spell and how I do it, other than the video that I'll link below, let me know and I will do a video. What is going on? Anyway, number 2, when a spell or working fails, what steps do you take to try again? Wait, what? When a spell or working fails, what steps do you take to try again to fix it? I might have worded that question wrong. But I don't know, it kind of depends on how the working failed, honestly. Did it fail because I didn't feed it? Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I don't keep up with the spell, and so it kind of like fizzles out. Especially within the past 6 months, any spell work I've done has kind of, well, not any, but there have been a few that have kind of like gone a little stale, or went like dead and stagnant. Like one, actually only one went dead. 1 or 2, maybe 3 went kind of like still water, you know what I mean? And that's because I just haven't rebalanced my life with this new experience I'm having. But usually what I'll do, if it's that, then I'll just kind of like feed it, or I'll re-enchant it, or do something to keep it moving. If it's dead, I figure out why. If it's because I neglected it, then I'll either redo it or figure out what the best course of action is. Usually I'll do a tarot reading, or I'll go polymancy on it and just bring out my pendulum. I also will use my pendulum to figure out the vibrational frequency of the spell, to see if it's stagnant or dead or what have you, or if it's complete or whatever. And yeah, that's basically what I do. You know, I'll either recast it if it's, you know, if the divination proves that to be the best course of action, or I will do a different spell. Sometimes a spell fails because I fall out of alignment with that working, like if you evolve spiritually or whatever to the point where that manifestation would actually hinder you. Sometimes I've had that happen to me. So yeah, it really depends, but that's the general consensus of what I do. Number 3, have you ever used an object or ingredient in a spell that would be considered odd or whimsical? Yeah, if you checked out my hashtag good vibes potion, I think you'd find it pretty odd that I put baking soda in the potion. You know, I know Lady Gravedancer is one of the few, if only, witches that has verbalized using baking soda in her magical practice, but I don't think even she has put it in a potion. I could be wrong. As for anything else, I know I've used a matchbox car as a representation of my phoenix animal totem. I've also used a like dollar store stretchy beanie sea turtle as another animal totem representation. But when it comes to spell work, I don't know. I know I've used fishing hooks in a spell once. That's something I haven't heard anyone use. Trying to think what else. I don't know, like being vegan, I've used xanthan gum in a spell. Oh my gosh, I think that's someone I go to church with. Oh, that's funny. I didn't think about that when I went here. Oh well. Yeah, so, and xanthan gum, that's actually something I'm gonna do a video on for like my series called The Herbarium, so stay tuned for that. Oh, where'd it go? Come back. Oh, crap. What number are we? Oh, shit. This ant keeps on bothering me. I know it probably looks like I was scared by the text message, but it was actually this ant. I think it's a fire ant, and I really don't want it to bite me. Do you like that text message sound? I love it. If I remember and I have time, I'll play my ringtone as well. But after the question. What techniques do you use to generate energy or chi for spell casting? Oh, for spell casting. Okay, so I guess it's chi. Well, I mean, I guess you could raise energy. I don't know. In my practice, energy and chi are kind of like, they're the same thing, but they are manifested in like the physical versus spiritual. So like energy would be the physical counterpart of the spiritual chi. So like energy would be similar to vitality, whether or not you feel lethargic, whereas chi would be like that vibrational frequency, if that makes any sense. So like the energy, I would probably drink water, eat food, and do maybe some, I do exercises sometimes, or like I don't know, dancing, singing. Those could also be like for the chi, not just energy. I like to eat vitality balls. Maybe that's something I'll do on this channel. It's really cool. They're kind of like, it's like oats and chia seed and coconut and peanut butter, and it's really yummy. And it's like brain food stuff. So also my mental power tea that I made, I'll drink that sometimes to kind of like keep me in physical alignment, because this, I believe that the spiritual and the physical are heavily tethered, and that if one is, I guess you could say, less than the other, then it's not in integrity, it's not in harmony, and so you won't have as potent spell work. For raising chi, you could light candles, any fire, herb, or spice, using the color red. Clapping. I also use clapping for like purifying space. I also will use ringing a bell, especially at my altar. Trying to think what else. Singing. I'll play some like music on the YouTube. So that's some stuff I'll do. Number 5. How do you stay motivated to witch through things, or even work or start on a grimoire? I'm also going to include like Book of Shadows, Book of the Craft. So for a grimoire, well, I guess I'll pair grimoire and Book of the Craft together. I'll look at YouTube videos of people who have shared theirs, like Mandy C. Anyone that does kind of like a vintage, sometimes charmed or practical magic, but also like field guide looking like Book of Shadows and grimoires. I like those. I use inspiration from Benabel Wen when she has this post on her blog that talks about using a cookbook, and I'm using that right now as inspiration. I also look at any supplies that I have, and I'll look at any entries that I've typed up, written up, and say, okay, what do I want to put in there now? Do I want to tweak it before putting it in there? For stay motivated to witch through things. Okay, so witch through things. I'll actually watch Lady Gravedancer's video talking about witches who don't witch. I love it because I find it very empowering. It's like, yes, I am a witch. I have this power. I have this ability, this gift, rather, to make things happen. Don't forget about it, I'll also look at some old entries from earlier on in my practice as inspiration. One thing I mentioned on my old channel is that carrying around a cinnamon stick is good for motivation. You could also carry around a ginger root. Both of those are really good for kind of getting that speed and that courage and momentum. Number 6. Are there times when you doubt your power or don't feel connected? The only times I don't feel connected is when I'm not making an effort to connect. Like when I fall out of practice with my practice, fall out of routine with my practice, rather. That's really the only time I don't feel connected, if that's gone on for too long, and then I'll just, I'll do some type of routine or practice, and I'll feel connected again. As for doubting, I haven't doubted myself for quite some time now. The only reason why I did doubt myself is because I was insecure and depressed, and I would also compare myself to other practitioners. But now that I don't do that, I don't doubt myself anymore. Number 7, how do you build the community? Well, since I'm kind of new again to the community, I don't know how much I've actually built up. I know that I'd like to build up the community, so I think the way I'll answer is how I want to. And the way that I'd like to build up the community is like inspiring people to live their truth, also inspiring people to explore themselves, not just the pagan and not just the witch. And I think I'll link this video below. That's why I did this this, I guess, a tag video. I don't know. It's one question, and basically it's like, I don't remember what the exact words are, but it's basically along the lines of, what else makes you you? Like, who are you besides the pagan, besides the witch? And yeah, so that's, I think, how I want to build up this community, as well as having this channel be a place of authenticity and feeling safe that you can be yourself in whatever way that is. 8. How do you cope when life just becomes too much and you begin to lose faith in your practice, in what you do, and sometimes even who you are? I'll tend to, well, usually I think the general consensus is that um, it might go a few days or a week or two before you notice it. But when you do notice it, I would probably say, this is what I do. I will do a reading, which I actually still need to finish doing. I've only done half of it. It's actually one that I want to do on here. I want to show you guys this spread that I found. It was called the Enlightened Perspective Spread, and I love it because you can break it up into 4 parts where you only do one part, or you can do multiple, like variations of a mixture of the 4 parts, or you could do the whole thing. It's really, really cool. But yeah, so that's one way that I break it up. Also, I try and see what the weather's like, what my diet's like, am I drinking enough water. I'll also do like an anti-depression spell bag. That's something that I'm going to be doing soon. I don't know if I have enough time to do it today. That might have to wait to be recorded next week. But those are some things that I do. And as for like doubting myself, or what was the question? Losing faith in who I am. Someone who's experienced emotional abuse, I have gone through that even recently, and I'll go to my altar and I'll use like the pendulum or some form of divination to try and see if what this person has said about me has any validity. And I kind of just like honor my emotions, and I just try and work through them and ask divinity to help me through them as well. Where or what is your favorite magical scenery? Honestly, anywhere in nature. I'm really glad that I'm actually doing this outside. Hopefully you can hear me. I think so. I think I'm relatively close. But, yeah, I love being out in nature, you know? I also love, my astral... It's not a temple, and it's not an altar, but I don't know what it is. Somewhere in the astral realm. It's really nice. Where or what? Yeah. Also, my altar is one of my favorite magical sceneries. How do you handle new friendships that don't know you practice the craft? I don't know. I guess I treat them. Well, usually if they don't know, it's because they're not a witch or a magical practitioner, and or they're not watching this channel. So I just treat them as a non-magical practitioner, and I think it kind of goes along with that tag video that I mentioned about who else are you besides the witch. I let them help define other parts of me that are not spiritual or magical based, and I treat them that way. And if it ever shows up that we talk about my craft, then I will. But quite frankly, it's really none of their business. So if I don't want to share it, I don't have to, you know? And it's not so much that I'm hiding or being a wooded witch or anything like that. It's more about, this is my practice, and if I want to keep it private, I can keep it private. If I want to share it, I have the right to share it. And I have the right to share it in any which way I wish. And it's not like a cocky thing, it's just a matter-of-fact thing. So that's how I handle it. Another thing is that I do have trust issues, so I don't venture out to make a lot of friends, partly because of the emotional abuse I've experienced. But yeah, so that's how I deal with it. Number 11, how do you deal with family that doesn't accept you being a witch? I did experience this early on. I kind of kept my practice silent and allowed myself to learn about it, kind of indiscreetly. I decided to not talk about it because I didn't want to deal with that toxicity and that invalidation. So, I think being a wooded witch in that sense is very good. It's very healthy. Okay. And it's kind of important to your well-being and finding and living in your truth. But for the most part, I don't actually talk to my family, so I don't have to really deal with this. Have you ever had a spell backfire on you? Oh, this is number 12, by the way. To the point it scared you so much that you considered stop practicing witchcraft. No. I've never had a spell backfire to the point where I considered stop practicing witchcraft. However, I did at one point decide to stop practicing witchcraft, and when I cast the spell to do that, it ended up backfiring. But that's because I did 2 contradictory spells. and that's why it backfired. And if you want to, I can share that in like a Candid Confessions, or like, I don't know, a witchy vlog story time or something like that. I don't know. But number 13, but in regards to like doing a spell that scared me where I consider stop practicing, no. 13, when you first started practicing, when was the moment you stopped depending on others, books, websites for guidance, and started following your own intuition, doing what feels right to you? Relatively early, actually. When I realized that I wasn't finding a tradition or practice that spoke to me wholeheartedly, I realized that I'm just going to use the other people, the books, and the websites as points of reference. And that's when I really started implementing polymancy, which is divination through the pendulum, and other forms of divination that help me tap into my intuition, and also just like tapping into that inner voice and just asking, is this something that is in alignment with my practice and who I should be, and all that. Also working with any spirit guides and stuff like that, that really helps as well. So yeah, I'd say within the first year or two, definitely within the first 2 years, that's when I started to so I'd say I've been practicing 2 to 3 years, without relying on anyone as my go-to. Number 14, do you wait for karma, or do you take karma into your own hands? I think I did too many quotation fingers, but you know what I mean. I don't know if I can answer this question without it being too much of a tangent. I personally believe that we are all involved in people's karma, both consciously and unconsciously, and I think we're only consciously aware if we're living in a mindful practice. I don't think you can really wait for karma to happen or take it into your own hands, really, because I think if you're taking it into your own hands, it's not really karma, because karma means action. So karma is a byproduct of the universal law of cause and effect, which means for every action there's an equal but opposite reaction. So there's a response, and that response is karma. And it's not like this whole consequence, punishment, reward thing. And so I'm going to do a video that talks about that more in depth. And but yeah, I think that's the best way I can answer it right now. If you have any questions, like if it was confusing to you what I just said, and you want to, you can ask a question and I'll try and answer it a little more in the comments. But I am going to be doing a video that talks more about my beliefs towards karma. Number 15, have you ever been physically attacked by a fellow pagan? Physically, no. I don't even know if I've been spiritually attacked, but I know I was engaged indirectly in a witch war because of people that I was associated with. Yeah, but like physically attacked, no. Yeah, I don't even think I was like attacked like through the internet about my practice or anything like that. So yeah, no. 16, have you ever been accused of something that you didn't do because you practice witchcraft? I'm trying to remember. I think so, but I think it happened so long ago that I don't remember who or what it was that they accused me of. I know that I've had people act like unsure about me when I say I'm a witch. But I don't think I've been blatantly accused of anything, but I'm not entirely sure. I could have forgotten, honestly. Yeah, so I'm just going to say unsure. 17, how do you feel about bringing diversity into your practice from other cultures outside of your own? I'm assuming they mean outside of your own culture, like your heritage and upbringing and all that. I'm a big fan of that. Like my prosperity altar has a lot of Buddhism, specifically Nichiren Buddhism, because I kind of, there's a family that practices Buddhism, specifically, I think it's Nichiren, I don't know how to pronounce it, Buddhism, and I kind of went to their their place of worship, which is within their home, and we chanted together and everything. And it was really beautiful. And so I have that little booklet, and I incorporate that into my prosperity altar. And I've always had this subtle itch to want to include Egyptian practices. I recently learned about sun gazing, which is a big Egyptian practice, so that's something I want to start doing, especially with like my magical morning, more known as a miracle morning. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I love diversity. Like, it's my drug, literally. Culture. If you want to like keep my attention and like get me like horny, so to speak, talk about culture, and I will like listen to you forever. It will be like a dog with a bone. I will just like pay total attention. I'm so addicted to learning about culture and diversity. Big fan. And however, I'm not an eclectic witch. I actually follow my own tradition. I've made, well, I think I'm still in the process of making it and at least solidifying it. But the best way to explain it is like, I refer to it as like inspired eclecticism, which basically means that it's kind of like, so eclecticism, as I understand, is like where you take from other belief systems and practice it as its practice, but you don't practice the entire faith. That's how I understand it. However, with inspired eclecticism, you will get inspired by a practice in a culture, but you won't necessarily practice it the same way. For example, it's kind of like art, you know, so if you were to like copy someone's art, that would kind of be plagiarism. So I always feel that eclectic practice is like on the cusp of cultural appropriation. So I try to avoid that, and that's what inspired, or got me to think about inspired eclecticism, which is what I call my practice boheme. That's the name of it. Yeah, and so, for example, like I have a witch's rosary, but it's not made with metal. It doesn't follow the number of beads system. It doesn't follow, like, I don't recite the same words I do. So like there's like a whole thing, and I'll do a separate video talking about that and sharing my witch's rosary, so that way it can make more sense. Number 18, what is your favorite witchy tool, physical item? Myself, my whole body, because to me my body is an altar. My body is an athame, a wand, a cauldron, a chalice. It's the four elements. It's the fifth element. It's divinity. It's the god. It's the goddess. It's everything. So my body is my favorite tool, and I think that's why I find, you know, being a vegan and being healthy and working on getting a more physical exercise routine is important to me, because, you know, my body is my most important tool. So that's it. Hopefully I have enough time to record the 10 witchy question tag. If not, I'll figure it out some way, somehow. So I'm going to go to my thingy. What's that thing called? Ringtone. So that way I can play that for you guys. It's not playing. Why is it not playing? Yep, so that's it. And I got that free, and this screaming one from Zedge.com. So just, I think it's called Haunting, the ringtone, and the text message notification, that's just called, I think, Scream or something like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I like to know, so please let me know. Feel free to comment anything below. Feel free to share if you really want to. Let me know of other tag videos. I'd love to do them. They're really fun. I will be doing the 10 question tag, and I'm also going to be doing the 2018 YouTube Pagan Challenge. So, yeah, those are ones I'm working on right now, so I probably won't be recording any other tag videos right now. Well, maybe some with... Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is always in every video. That way, if you want to keep it more you know, discreet and private, you can do that. Otherwise, you can comment below. Feel free to stalk me on the gram. You can stalk me on the book as well. Facebook and Instagram, they're both linked in there in the description box. I'm also on Amino. I'm on the both. I think it's like Witches, Pagan Amino, and Witchcraft Amino. I don't know what it's called. I forgot. Yeah, if you want, you can follow my whole channel by hitting the subscribe button. Just make sure that you bang the bell, because if you don't, well, then you won't get notified, and then you won't know when I next upload. If you are not comfortable with following my whole channel, maybe you're not interested in everything, check out my playlist, and there's some button that you can hit. It's like a plus sign, or like a plus sign with some lines or whatever, and that can be, you can click on those, and then you're following that playlist that interests you. And then you'll be notified of that if that's something that you're interested in instead of my whole channel. Yeah, so thank you so much. I hope you decide to become a sapling. I love you so much. Like, I can't express how much I love you guys. And abundant and eternal blessing. Mwah.